Hello channel viewers, I'm DS, your psychologist, and welcome to another episode on Channel NITT. Can you profile a person based on a person's appearance alone? Now, this may sound like something that is very fictitious or unimaginable or ridiculous, but I have found a lot of correlations between MBTI and body types or even the way people like to dress. So viewers, especially ENTJs and INTJs, because you have NI as one of your preferred functions, sometimes you may come into a situation whereby you look at a person and then straight away you sort of can guess this person's MBTI type. I'm not too sure about other MBTI types, whether they are as accurate in guessing MBTI types based on just looking, but so far, for me, as an ENTJ, it has been quite useful. Of course, you can't say that this is the way to profile a person, definitely no. But if you can shortlist or narrow down possible baskets of MBTI types into a few and then try to find the person's MBTI type from there, you have a huge advantage. The concept of having MBTI types match with physical characteristics is not exactly a strange one because evolutionarily it makes sense. For example, I've realized that ENTJs and ESTJs tend to be tall people. And that makes perfect sense because in psychology, tall people are actually preferred as leaders. And ENTJs and ESTJs are actually built to become leaders. So all the SFJs, whether it's ISFJs or ESFJs that I know of, also tend to be a little bit meatier than usual. And that makes a lot of sense too, because if you are ISFJ or ESFJ nanny, for example, you can carry on your arms so many different babies. Actually two lah, huh? And you see, because being meatier, you are actually giving a lot of cushion. So if you go along this flow of thought, definitely possible. I have actually tried to find characteristics of different MBTI types and seeing whether it fits into a particular stereotypical model of physical characteristics. So for some MBTI types, this may be a very difficult process, but there are MBTI types that actually seem to work well with this physical characteristics funneling. So using this physical characteristic funneling kind of a strategy, just by looking at a particular person, you can sort of like a narrow or short list certain MBTI types that this person is likely to be. So first of all, ISTJs. ISTJs tend to be bespectacled. Most of the ISTJs that I know of, they wear spectacles and they look stern instead of nerdy. Although not necessarily true that ISTJs they wear spectacles, but tendency is they tend to be bespectacled. But there is a characteristic of ISTJ females. They look like spinsters, old spinsters. So I don't find ISTJ ladies commonly wearing makeup, and maybe for that particular reason, they also tend to look older than their actual age. INTJs and INTPs tend to have this kind of a similar physical characteristics. They tend to be mesomorphs. I profile a lot of INTJ and INTP males and females. They tend to be medium in terms of size. In fact, INTPs can be a little bit bigger than INTJs, especially for INTJ males. But INTJ females, let's just say that if I compare INTP females and INTJ females, INTP females are actually more attractive. One of the reasons could also be INTJ don't really spend time dressing up or dolling themselves. But then it could also be the resting bitch face that INTJs actually always have, that make them unapproachable and thereby unattractive. INTJs and INTP males, they tend to be small, medium size or small size. For Asians, they tend to be around 165 cm to about 175 cm, usually within that range. In our country, this is considered short, or maybe because I'm tall. Nonetheless, there's a very interesting observation that I make of INTJs and INTPs. INTJs like to wear shoes or proper footwear. INTPs usually go out wearing sandals, slippers, things that can actually cause their feet to look bare, or how do we put it? Their legs can be exposed, their feet can be exposed with their footwear. So INTJs and INTP males, also for females, they tend to wear very dark colors like black. But INTJs prefer to wear shirts, polo shirts, button shirts, ugly shirts. Some INTJs that I know of do wear t-shirts, but more likely an INTP is going to wear a t-shirt more than an INTJ. Most of the INTJs that I know of, when I see them, they are in shirts that have buttons, at least 2 buttons like a polo tee. Do not know why this is the case. Maybe if you happen to know INTJs, you can explain to me why you prefer wearing polo tees as compared to t-shirts. So as already mentioned, ESTJs and ENTJs tend to be taller, but they are not necessarily bigger. They tend to be very ectomorphic, which is tall and long. INFJ males are also mesomorphic, but they tend to be a bit bigger, broader. They are not obese, but probably flabby is what I would classify. So if I were to rank in terms of size, INTJ smallest, INTP followed by INFJs. INFJ males seem to have meat, quite a lot of meat everywhere. But they are not really fat. The fat ones are the ISFJs. So I think you would be correct to say that INFJs are meaty. Meatier than INTPs usually. But of course, again, disclaimer, this is just a very quick eyeballing method for you to narrow down a particular person, especially a new person's MBTI types. But of course, this eyeballing method is not foolproof. Lastly, I realized that ENFPs and ENTPs, they tend to be quite big framed. They can be tall, but not necessarily tall either. Generally, they are taller than most people. They are big framed. Means to say they are big size. For a lady, they could also come across as a man in terms of their body shape. It's like big size is what I'm getting. The shoulders are naturally broad. It's not necessarily so that ENTPs and ENFPs are fat, but they can be really meaty. They are not obese, but I think they are large sized. Okay, I think they have a big frame. Why would that evolutionarily make sense? Let me think about it. I personally think that it could be quite difficult to distinguish between an ENFP and an ENTP just by looking at the size alone, because they are very similar in terms of their stature, their body frame. So you might need to talk to them more before you understand whether they are actually an ENFP or an ENTP. Conversely, INFP females are smaller size, and I don't know, for some reasons they are very voluptuous, but I do not know conclusively whether this is a characteristic of INFP females. Maybe you can tell me if you have INFP females around them. It's always very fun for an ENTJ or even INTJ to draw correlations and parallels between physical characteristics and MBTI types, for example. Why? This is because we have NI, and NI likes to draw parallels. Now at Channel NITT, we produce a lot of MBTI videos. If you have enjoyed this one, or if you have anything to add on, do feel free to comment below and do give us a like. And if you have not already subscribed, do consider subscribing so that we can bring you more MBTI, INTJ, ENTJ and fun stuff. Okay, I'm going to sign off now, and I'll see you in our next episode. Bye bye.